My name is Nacho, welcome back to the channel. And do you know how you can predict the future? You got several options ranking from less to more effective. You can go see a tarot reader and spend $20 to learn that you are in fact adopted. You can build an AI and let it run wild on the internet until it becomes omniscient and godlike to tell you that your future will be as a slave for the new robot overlords. Or you could just simply check the like-dislike ratio on the latest Star Wars TV show. It's safe to say that whoever thought of the idea of bringing more, how can I put this?
First woman had a woman.
Woman-centered.
Female protagonist. Female director.
Strong female character.
Women.
Woman.
Into Star Wars is not going to get fired. They're probably gonna be promoted and be giving a bunch more money to continue to burn this once great IP further down into the ground. And so we arrived on The Acolyte, a show that has been in development for so long now and which I care so little about that I'm probably not gonna bother doing the backwork to find out when production started or how many reshoots were necessary. But since its release date is fast approaching, Disney Star Wars decided to finally drop a trailer. And oh boy, what a mistake that was.
That's enough.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy this Sith, not join them!
That comment section though, glorious. There hasn't been a more poorly received trailer in the history of Star Wars, and if you think I'm exaggerating, let's find out. The Book of Boba Fett got around 11 million views and 7.2k dislike. Didn't watch it, so don't care. Andor, which I thought was pretty decent, same amount of views, 23k dislikes. The Mandalorian Season 3, where the Mandalorian got relegated to be a guest character, 8.1 million views and 3.7 dislikes. The Staring Contest, that was Ahsoka, 16 million views and 39k dislikes. Even the most hated movie in the sequels, The Last Jedi, got 56 million views and 48k dislikes. None of them has even gotten close to the ratio that The Acolyte got. Some articles are calling this a review bombing, saying that The Acolyte being another Star Wars victim of this is nothing new, which fits very well with the victim mentality 90% of the people involved in this probably have. The same article also says that there's no real reason why this bombing should have happened, saying that it's been hard to find a specific reason for the backlash beyond the usual social media chatter. Oh really? Other than the well-known fact that Star Wars have been hijacked by racist misandrists under Disney's supervision, who seem to know very little about the story, even to the point of hiring a writer who has never seen Star Wars, which in some cases you might think could bring some refreshing insights until you remember that whiteboard in the writer's room that had representation and diversity written twice, as well as feelings and dinosaurs.
Not like this. Not like this.
And in a franchise called Star Wars, we have to make sure we don't make it pro-war. Not to mention that the actors in this also seem to know fuck all about it.
I mean, the best parts about Star Wars is there is no good or evil. It depends on what side you're standing on, truly. You know what I mean? That you can look at any angle and see yourself related through all the characters, Darth to Luke. You know what I'm saying?
Skywalker. There are too many of them. What are we going to do?
I can relate.
Or maybe that in order to be able to include whatever we want in this and have a valid excuse when the fans absolutely hate it, spoilers, they already do, we will set it in the extended universe and add things like a Wookiee Jedi. You guys remember Wookiees, right? Fans love Wookiees. It could be the generic ass costume and CGI sets, or the lazy token black men haircut they gave the one black male character in this show. Maybe it's the generic ass dialogue.
This isn't about good or bad. This is about power.
Or could it be simply that the head honcho making this pile of crap is no one else but Leslye Headland, the former assistant of Harvey Weinstein who fell upwards after covering up for one of the most vile men in Hollywood, and as some are pointing out, is probably gonna do to Star Wars what Harvey did to all those women. Leslie's grandiose setup for the show happens way before The Phantom Menace, so expect some timeline discrepancies leading up to the actual canon, and says that her elevator pitch, as she calls it, is Frozen meets Kill Bill, which makes absolutely no goddamn sense no matter where in the standard universe you position yourself, because Frozen and Kill Bill are on this area, and over there in a galaxy far, far away is Star Wars. It is sort of a joke. We can leave it there, right? Like, I mean, she said it herself. But it was my elevator pitch to Kathy. I want to take that revisionist version of the female villain that you see in fairy tale media and tell it through that lens. She means to tell the story from the viewpoint of the villains, which is fitting considering her career and the people she associated with. But the concept of her pitch boils down to painting the Jedi as fallible and how they became complacent enough to allow the Sith to slowly infiltrate the Senate, gain power, and eventually wipe them out. And I feel this follows that continuing trend of undermining the people we are meant to look up to as heroes in order to paint the baddies in a better light. That sort of logic would say that Luke Skywalker is bad because he destroyed the Death Star, which had created more than 2 million job opportunities for members of the Empire. This is the sort of idea she brings into the show, as she explains in various interviews and in that god-awful Star Wars celebration last year, where after saying for the 5th time that she's a massive fan of the franchise,
obviously George's films and then the release of the special editions, like for a long period of time, if a lot of that publishing was really the only Star Wars that I had. And
she starts fake crying, saying that Star Wars saved her life.
to be here, like, Star Wars saved my life. Like, I know that
Oh yes, we haven't heard that one before.
When I was working for Harvey W, I would always put my headphones to listen to my High Republic audiobooks. That way, it was much easier to mask the screams of the poor young actresses that I ushered into his office, knowing full well what he would do to them. That totally saved my mental health. Oh, did I mention that I'm also queer?
This is a...
Leslye Headland's head.
Can you guess which spot that goes in?
The square.
That's right. It goes in the square hole.
Yes.
It has happened so many times that you think that a pattern would have been spotted by now by someone that making productions led, written, or composed majority of women with a big emphasis in diversity and representation has led to nothing else but breaking records. Just not the records you would like to be breaking. Like the most expensive show in history with the lowest amount of audience retention, the least profitable MCU movie in the history of the franchise, the most disliked trailer for an upcoming Star Wars show ever. These are not things that you can be proud of, and yet the defense that's being run by articles calling this a review bombing by haters, saying that it's too early to judge the Acolyte as they are missing the writing on the wall that says that this show is gonna suck massive balls that happens to be written in shit. Like this one saying that DEI is not the problem with Star Wars and that where everything went wrong was during the prequels. Yeah, I don't have to read past that first paragraph, thank you very much. Why the Acolyte is dividing Star Wars fans. Yes, it's happening again. But why is it happening again? Shouldn't their focus be making things that everyone loves? Like that close-up shot in Rogue One that was the most baller thing they ever did. They say that the trailer is dividing the fanbase again. If anything, I'd say that the fanbase seems pretty united in their disdain for this load of crap. All 643,000 of them. Star Wars The Acolyte gets a release date and a stunning and brave new trailer. And then you have straight up lies, like the very own Star Wars website saying that this trailer broke records, gathering 51.3 million views in its first 24 hours.
You're lying.
Okay, so we're just making up numbers now? That's fine, I guess they forgot to look over to the other big number that's just underneath that trailer. Why is Carrie-Anne Moss in this? Why, after all she went through with Matrix Resurrections? What the fuck did Hollywood do to sweet old Rue from the Hunger Games? This girl is the perfect example of what TikTok does to a developing brain. My girl here has done so many interviews where she comes out of a different closet each time. Check out this article where she says that social media has allowed her generation to organize and express their thoughts. If there's an adjective for this generation expressing their thoughts or feelings through social media, organized is not one of them. Then she said that she's taking a break from social media and that she's tired of corporations profiting off of people and how Elon's radical tactics for free speech are creating a division amongst people. Well, yeah, you see, that's the thing with free speech. When you allow everyone to express their opinions, there's a big enough chance that a lot of them are not going to agree with each other. We'll ignore that Saint Laurent dress that she's wearing that costs 5.5 grand, because that's totally not her profiting from a corporation that profits off of people, and read the next paragraph, where she said that she's obsessed with social media and her almost 3 million followers, and that she has 3 meme accounts, and that she won't be quitting anytime soon.
It doesn't make sense.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense.
That's the future generation in a nutshell, everybody. Ah, we're so screwed. The Acolyte is just another example of how Disney Star Wars is the franchise equivalent of a headless chicken running around with no clear direction that keeps relying on the money coming from the DEI pools. The bad news is that well is drying up really quickly. people, and more important, corporations, are realizing this and they're turning away from it. And after the disastrous failure that's going to be the Acolyte, because we know it will be, they will lie and they will hide the numbers and manipulate them to paint this as a success before cancelling season 2 and putting a boot straight up Leslye Headland's square ass. But don't worry, she probably has so much dirt on so many powerful people that she will be giving another show in a different franchise, and she will also fuck that one up. After all of that happens, and after a very big franchise cooldown, maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to enjoy another good Star Wars story. But if you watch this far into the video, leave us a like. Check out this video next if you want to know how bad seeing the future actually can be. Let me know in the comments down below which is your favorite Star Wars spin-off, and/or, no doubt. Thank you to my supporters over at Coffee who are always looking sexy as fuck. And as always, I've been Nacho. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.